Welcome to the Success in Africa podcast with Dr. Modupe, your weekly dose of leadership vitamins to make you successful in Africa.
Hello and welcome to the Success in Africa podcast, episode 23. My name is Dr. Modupe Taylor-Pierce, and I am a scholar and practitioner of leadership and organizational development. Simply put, I study what makes people successful. I've been doing this for 3 decades now with a particular focus on people in Africa, and in this podcast, I will share stories, lessons, and insights about people experiencing success in Africa. Why this podcast? Because I'm sick and tired of Africa being the poorest continent in the world. We are blessed with the greatest resource, that is young people. Africa will soon have the largest number of working age people in the world. And when these people achieve success, watch out. Africa's wealth will be unparalleled. Why? Because I don't know of too many Africans whose goal in life it is to die poor. You see, success in life is simply the achievement of a predetermined goal. Whether that goal is, building your own house and having 2 cars, or creating jobs for 50 people, or transforming your industry. This podcast has been created to help you to achieve it. So, if you are serious about achieving success in Africa, I want you to subscribe to this channel. If you like this video after you've watched it, please click the like button. This podcast has been brought to you courtesy of BCA Leadership, the largest leadership enhancement company in Africa. If you have questions that you want me to answer after watching this video, just log on to BCA Online, the link is on the screen, and post your questions there. That's where I will respond to your questions. Last week, we learned about finding problems that are worth solving. And we learned this by looking into Bethlehem Alemu, the founder of Soul Rebels, one of the fastest growing shoe companies in the world. Today's person of focus has certainly found a problem worth solving, albeit in a totally different industry from shoe manufacturing or making coffee. The lesson we're going to learn today is the lesson about failing forward. Failing forward. This is a term used to illustrate the importance of recognizing failure as a stepping stone towards success, leveraging failure as a learning tool, and harnessing the courage to allow oneself to try again, even after one has failed. You see, failing forward is an immensely important skill for entrepreneurs in Africa, because it is difficult to come across truly successful entrepreneurs who have not failed before or have not had to look failure into the eye and press on. This was certainly the case for Jason Njoku. Jason is a self-proclaimed certified failure at business who kept trying and trying to be a successful entrepreneur, and finally, after 10 failed startups, he struck gold with his 11th attempt, Iroko TV. Jason Njoku is a Nigerian British entrepreneur. He grew up in the UK. Then he was sent to Nigeria for about 4 years during his teenage years. He was raised by a single mother in the UK who decided that he needed to be, properly Africanized during his youth. His mother was not wealthy, and frankly, she was understandably upset when, after finally graduating from university at the age of 25, Jason did not find a stable job in the UK and instead said he was going to pursue his entrepreneurial dreams, which he did unsuccessfully for 5 years. And during those 5 years, he became more and more broke. He finally ended up practically homeless in London and had to move back in with his mother. Imagine that. A 30-year-old man, African, having to move back to his mother's house While living with his mother, he noticed that his mother enjoyed Nollywood movies but was struggling to get them to watch. He also noticed that his mother's friends also had similar problems in terms of a lack of supply of the movies, and wondered how many people in the diaspora were potentially experiencing the same problem. He reflected on the fact that while he had been in Nigeria, the video cassettes of these movies were relatively easy to get, and he realized that he might have stumbled onto a problem that was worth solving. Everyone around him thought that this business idea was yet another failure in the making. Not surprising, because frankly, he had pitched so many other business ideas before, and people had gotten excited only for them to be disappointed. The only person who believed in Jason's idea was his German friend who had attended a university with him, University of Manchester. And this friend was named Bastian Gotha. Why did Bastian believe in this idea? Bastian basically figured that Jason had failed so much, and the fact that Jason refused to give up his dream meant to Bastian that A, Jason had learned enough about how not to do entrepreneurship, and therefore he was a pretty safe bet at this point. And number two, that Jason had enough passion and drive to succeed once he found the right problem that was worth solving. So Bastian sold some of his hard-earned assets to give Jason some money to pursue this business idea. And it wasn't like Bastian had a lot of money, okay? But at least he wasn't as broke as Jason. So Jason and Bastian formed Iroko Partners in December of 2010. Jason then flew to Nigeria to start purchasing the distribution rights to Nollywood movies. The idea was to purchase the rights to the distribution of the movies in cash, straight from the producers, digitize the movies, and then stream them on a movie playing platform for people in the diaspora to be able to watch for a fee. He struck a deal with YouTube in Germany to use their platform to stream the licensed Nollywood movies for free on his channel. The channel became very popular and was profitable not very long after it was launched. And in fact, it was even featured in the international press because of how quickly it had gone viral. The channel was called Nollywood Love and led to a successful investment from a US-based hedge fund who led around two investments totaling $8 million to invest in Iroko TV. Since then, the company has raised an additional $17 million of investment, making it one of the better funded West African internet companies. Indeed, Jason had struck gold. Today, Iroko TV works with most of Nollywood's top film production houses and purchases the exclusive online licenses to their films and broadcasts them through its web platform to millions of subscribers who are predominantly in the diaspora. By creating Iroko TV, Jason solved two problems for two groups of people. You see, for the actors, creators, and producers of Nollywood movies, he solved their distribution and sales problem. They had a problem of how to find markets for their product, and Iroko TV has significantly expanded their market. Today, Nollywood movies are not just watched by Nigerians in the diaspora. They're not even just watched by Africans in the diaspora. They are watched by everyone in the world. Now, for the second group, in terms of the problem solving, that group was the group of Nigerians. Now, this is at the time when he started in the diaspora, who were also fans of Nollywood movies and did not have ready access to these movies, like Jason's mom and her friends. So Jason created a means for these diasporans to be able to have ready access to a wide variety of Nollywood movies, much larger than they previously had, which basically they would get by sharing their VHS tapes with each other in small communities in the UK, Canada, and the US, where there were clusters of Nigerian immigrants. So he solved that problem by giving them wide access. You see, by finding problems worth solving and engaging his wits and energy to providing a solution, Jason has created a company that is the envy of many entrepreneurs. Now, the journey was not without its challenges. The availability of high-speed internet in Nigeria was such that it was such a challenge in those days that instead of digitizing and just streaming the movies from Nigeria as he had originally planned, Jason sometimes had to pay somebody to take the VHS tapes from Nigeria to the UK and then digitize them in the UK and stream from there. But the passion that Jason has for the business and for finding solutions has allowed him to overcome these and many other challenges. And today he sits atop a business that employs hundreds of people in 3 continents. What can we learn from the journey of Jason Njoku? Well, first we can learn that the fear of failure is the biggest hindrance to success. If Jason had been afraid to fail the first time, he would not have attempted his first business, or his second, third, fourth, or fifth. And if that had been the case, Jason Njoku would have found a regular job and nobody would have heard of him, and Iroko TV may never have been birthed. Second, we can learn that failure is simply part of the journey and we should embrace it as a learning experience. Failure is just part of the success journey. While we do what we can to ensure success, we should be circumspect about failure, recognizing it as simply a rite of passage into the land of success. Finally, and this is a lesson from the last episode as well, we can learn that we should find problems worth solving. You see, by finding a problem that was being experienced by millions of people around the world, Jason created a business that was quick to secure investment from professional investment firms. I don't want you to lose sight of this point. He got the investment he needed quickly because the professional investment firms recognized the huge potential, because they recognized that the problem that Iroko TV was solving was a problem that not just Jason's mom had or her friends, but millions of consumers around the world had that problem. And that made those professional investors interested. Now, if you listen to Jason talk, it's obvious that he has deep roots in the UK, just as he has in Nigeria. Yet, he did not let his UK side stop him from creating a business that effectively exports Nigerian products and services and talent to the world. And for that bravery, I say, bravo, Jason Njoku. This brings us to the end of today's podcast. I look forward to reading your comments and your feedback about this podcast. Next week, we will continue with our series on success in for-profit businesses. Please share this video, subscribe to the channel, like it, tell your friends about it, because together we can transform our beloved continent. I'll see you next week.
Tomorrow belongs to those people who prepare for it today. See you next week.